Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
6 days left before Election Day, Ohio is in the center of campaigning and controversy. Good evening, I'm Abby Grisey.
And I'm Michaela Marshall. Thanks for joining us. In this election, every vote counts, especially in a swing state like Ohio. But hundreds of voters say they haven't gotten the absentee ballots they requested. Reporter Bill Horman tells us why.
The problem started at a mail sorting facility in Pontiac, Michigan. The ballots were sent from Lucas, Wood, and 5 other counties October 12th. But 20 days later, and many still have not been delivered. Today, Secretary of State John Husted visited the Board of Elections office in Wood County. He says voting has gone smoothly in Ohio, except for this absentee ballot problem. And Husted puts the blame squarely on the postal system.
It's completely unacceptable. The post office needs to do a better job.
Husted says he's been in touch with the post office. So far, though, no explanation on what happened. But now, local elections officials are scrambling to make sure that absentee voters get a ballot.
For us, it's frustrating because we did receive these absentee applications, we did process them, and we did mail them out.
Lucas County is reissuing absentee ballots to voters who contact the BOE and request one. And ballots seem to be arriving as they should.
What we are finding now is the ballots we're sending out today seem to be getting to the voters within that 3 to 5 day range.
We feel like we're starting to get over the hump.
Wood County had a problem as well. So far, 330 ballots have been reissued to voters who asked for but did not receive a ballot. But now time's running out. You have to request a ballot by noon Saturday.
So if we can get them a ballot that soon and they can get it postmarked by the 7th, then it's countable, assuming it gets in within the 10 days after.
You can also log on to the Secretary of State's website and look for your ballot.
If you go to my website at myohiovote.com, you can track your absentee ballot to make sure when it was sent and when it was received.
And missing absentee ballots isn't the state's only worry. Republican Secretary of State John Husted says the National Guard is helping to keep the swing state's elections safe. The Guard's Cyber Protection Unit is testing for vulnerabilities in the state's computer system. The cybersecurity help follows claims by Donald Trump calling the U.S. election rigged.
Want to be tested. Cyber warfare is a new front for the military, for business, and now for elections.
The National Guard joins the FBI, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, private security experts, and others in monitoring Ohio's election security.
And while the National Guard focuses on preventing voter fraud, Bernie Sanders is working to make sure Trump doesn't make it to the White House. Bernie Sanders is making stops near Youngstown and Cincinnati tomorrow, and later this week, Hillary Clinton is stopping in Cleveland to share the stage with rapper Jay-Z at a free concert. According to recent polls, Ohio is still a toss-up. And President Obama is working to make that toss-up lean toward Clinton. He kicked off campaigning for Hillary Clinton yesterday in the Buckeye State. During the Columbus event, Obama attacked Donald Trump and urged voters to look at the flip-flopping position of other Republican leaders.
Donald Trump is uniquely unqualified to be president. He is temperamentally unfit to be commander-in-chief. Don't take my word for it. Take the word of a lot of the Republicans who were saying this before they decided politically that it was convenient to support him. And then some of them decided politically it was inconvenient to support him again.
Obama told the crowd, adding that the progress the U.S. has seen over the past 8 years would, quote, go out the window if voters make what he believes is the wrong choice. And stick around later in the show, we'll tell you what the polls are revealing about campaign efforts.
Good evening and welcome to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Ananda Harris. It may be early November, but it is feeling more like a summer evening out there. Just take a look at these temperatures right now. We are sitting at 78 degrees right now in Athens, 76 up in Columbus, and 80 degrees currently in Ironton. Now we will cool down a little bit. Excuse me, that is the wrong graphic, but we can take a look at our high for today while we're up here. We got up to 81 degrees for the high. That is 20 degrees above normal. We almost hit our record high of 82 degrees, which was set in 1987. Those temperatures will cool down a little bit tomorrow as we have a cold front moving through, but I'll have more on that in just a little bit. Over to you, Michaela.
Thanks, Ananda. Athens is getting a new playground with a little help from the community. The Athens Arts, Parks, and Recreation Department is asking for volunteers to help build the new playground at Highland Park. Thanks to a grant from Dr. Pepper, Snapple Group, and Kaboom, a new playground is possible. Assistant Director of Athens Community Arts, Parks, and Recreation Department, Andrew Chicky, says the playground at Highland Park hasn't been given any attention since the 1980s. Chicky says the new playground will include new swings and colorful slides.
We needed to get involvement with kids. We put out a survey with different types of equipment and different color schemes and let the kids choose what they wanted the park to look like.
If you're interested in helping out, please email Tara Giltz at the address below. Volunteers should arrive on Saturday at 9 a.m. And we have breaking news coming out of Ohio University. Police are looking for a rapist who attacked a student early Tuesday morning. The female student reported she communicated with the male via Snapchat, then later met with him in her dorm room in Soule Hall. She says she denied his sexual advances, but he attacked. Police have yet to release a sketch of the male, but have a vague description. He is described as white with blonde hair, 5'10", heavy set, and with facial hair. Police are looking for anyone who matches that description and was seen around Soule Hall around 2 a.m. on Tuesday morning. If you have any information, call OUPD at 740-593-1191.
And moving over to Cincinnati, the first witness took the stand today in the trial of Ray Tensing. Tensing, a former University of Cincinnati officer, is accused in the death of Sam DuBose. Prosecutors say Tensing pulled DuBose over in what should have been a minor traffic stop in July. The defense says the video shows Tensing's life was in danger. However, prosecutors say Tensing willfully and unnecessarily took a life. Jurors saw the video frame by frame in court today. Tensing has pleaded not guilty to all charges.
More jobs are headed to the Buckeye State. Honda is building 2 new data centers in central Ohio. The automaker plans to spend $53 million to construct in Raymond, Ohio. One will operate for quality control and another for data near an existing research and development complex. Both are set to open next year. And new jobs are coming to Ohio University this summer. The Board of Trustees approved the demolition of 2, possibly 3 dorms on South Green at their meeting a couple of weeks ago. Oblenis House and Marzletoff House will be demolished in the summer. Fenzel House will also possibly be demolished, unless the school needs more beds. That decision needs to be made by March. The demolition will begin after commencement in April. The anticipated budget is about $2.5 million, but if Fenzel is not part of the demolition, the budget is $1.8 million.
Help the environment and get some new clothes at the Cat's Pajamas Clothing Exchange this week. The exchange will be held at Arts West starting tomorrow and will continue until Saturday. People who donate clothes by tomorrow will receive a ticket to get into the exchange. Otherwise, entry costs $15 on Thursday and Friday and $10 for Saturday. Coming up after the break, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, and all their surrogates continue to navigate the country. We'll tell you what the polls are saying about their efforts.
We've got the latest details from last night's fatal police shootings in Iowa. These stories and more when Newswatch returns.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus and our school and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Election Day 2016 is officially 6 days away, and while millions of Americans have already cast their ballot, both Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are wasting none of their time they have left. Both candidates and their surrogates are crisscrossing the country to make their final pitch to voters, especially those in battleground states. Steve Nanas has this report from Washington.
Amid tightening polls and a late October curveball from the FBI, the Clinton camp is shifting its focus back to Trump and the controversies that have roiled his White House bid. Clinton's campaign taking on Trump in a new ad featuring his past comments about women.
Putting a wife to work is a very dangerous thing. When I come home and dinner's not ready, I go through the roof.
Clinton herself echoing that line of attack in the key swing state of Florida.
He sure has spent a lot of time demeaning, degrading, insulting, and assaulting women.
Trump never one to shy away from conflict, going after Clinton and the president over Obamacare.
Hillary Clinton wants to expand Obamacare and make it even more expensive.
Trump continuing to face less than enthusiastic support from some in the establishment wing of his own party. House Speaker Paul Ryan said Tuesday that he's voted, but he avoided mentioning Trump's name.
I already voted here in Janesville for our nominee last week in early voting. We need to support our entire Republican ticket.
Ohio Governor John Kasich refusing to vote for Trump, instead writing in 2008 GOP nominee John McCain's name at the top of his ballot. Actions that drew criticism from former Pennsylvania Senator and GOP presidential candidate Rick Santorum.
I'm not happy with either John Kasich or Paul Ryan on the way they're conducting themselves, particularly John Kasich. John, you signed a pledge. You signed a pledge saying that you would support the Republican nominee for president.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump will be campaigning in North Carolina tomorrow. An Iowa man wanted in connection to the ambush-style attacks on 2 police officers is now in police custody. The main suspect, Scott Michael Green, was captured this morning. According to Des Moines Police, Sergeant Anthony Beminio and Officer Justin Martin were both shot overnight while just sitting in their police cruisers. Today, the communities of Des Moines and Urbandale are mourning the loss of 2 police officers. Watch this emotional exchange after a woman hugs an officer, gives him water, and offers to pray for him.
And I want you to go home to your families because I want my dad to come home to me, and I want my friends to come home to me. And I'm sorry, and I'm here for you all. I don't know how else to help or what else to do.
Your prayers are all with you.
Thank you, and I will be praying. Please go home to your family. God bless you. Thank you.
As the communities continue processing the events, officials are searching for the weapon involved in the shootings.
As expected, the Federal Reserve will not be raising interest rates this month. The Fed Policy Committee voted 8-2 to maintain interest rates in a range of 0.25 to 0.5%. The Fed said that the case for a rate hike has continued to strengthen, but said it's looking for more evidence of progress. Now, analysts will await the Fed's meeting in December to see if a rate hike will happen before year's end. And on Wall Street today, stocks improved slightly following the Fed's announcement, but remained in negative territory following investors' worries about the presidential election. Here's a look at stocks of local interest.
Meal replacement shakes are the latest fad taking over the weight loss industry. We'll explain the pros and cons of a popular product. That story's still ahead.
And we've had some warm weather, but I'm going to let you know when it's going to start to feel like fall again. Plus, it may be time to bring out your umbrella because there is some rain on the way. All that and your extended forecast coming up on Newswatch.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB, and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory. Welcome back to the Newswatch Weather Center. I'm Ananda Harris. Right now we are at 78 degrees here in Athens. Very, very warm for this time of year. Not feeling like early November at all. Across the region, temperatures all pretty similar. 76 degrees up to the north in Columbus, Newark, and Cambridge. Down south we're even a little bit warmer at 80 degrees in Ironton and 78 over in Jackson. Looking at our almanac once again for today, we were well above normal, 20 degrees above our average high for today. We hit 80 degrees for our high. For our low, we were also a little bit on the above average side at 48 degrees, that normal being around 39, but not to worry, it will start feeling like fall in just a little bit. Right now, though, we have high pressure dominating the region, bringing that warm air up from the south. It's been giving us those above average temperatures. But as we go overnight, we see this low pressure and cold front starting to push into the region. By tomorrow, that will be sitting over us, dumping lots of rain throughout the day tomorrow. With that rain, though, there's also going to be a drop in temperatures. Highs are only going to get into the 60s tomorrow, so that's going to feel a lot more like fall than today. Now overnight, we're going to drop down only to 58 degrees. Very, very warm for a low for this time of year. Fairly mild. We will have some increasing clouds as we go overnight with a slight chance for some rain as we go toward the morning hours, but that bigger chance for rain will come tomorrow. Overnight lows all in the 50s and 60s, 59 degrees your low in Columbus, 60 degrees over in New Martinsville, and 60 degrees down south in Ironton and Ripley as well. Tomorrow morning, 62 degrees for your bus stop forecast. The biggest thing we're going to have to worry about is that chance for rain, so make sure you send those kids out with a raincoat and an umbrella, because even if it's not raining quite when they leave, that rain will come later in the day. Looking at our hour by hour, we do see our greatest chance for rain happening around noon, and by 4 p.m. those showers will start to move out of the region, only about a 30% chance by 4 p.m. Across the the high for tomorrow going to hit 66 degrees, so not too hot but still pretty above average.
Temperatures tomorrow all in the upper 60s and 70s tomorrow. And for your 7-day, we see sunshine after that rain passes through the area tomorrow. For your weekend, beautiful temperatures all in the low to mid 60s for Saturday and Sunday. And for the beginning of the week, we're going to stay with those fall temperatures, only hitting 65 degrees by Monday. Over to you, Abby.
Thanks, Ananda. And just a quick clarification on a story we did earlier about the Cat's Pajamas clothing exchange. You do still have to pay to get into the exchange, even if you did donate clothing. And meal replacement shakes and bars have been a growing trend for folks looking to shed some weight. But they remain controversial among nutritionists. Are they good for you? Are they even effective? Kim Hutcherson breaks down the debate in today's Health Minute.
Soylent is the latest brand to promise all the nutrients you need in just one bottle or bar. Meal replacement diets are popular with people too busy to sit down and eat a meal. But Soylent has recently made some people sick, and the company is offering full refunds. The nutrition world remains divided on the meal replacement trend. They could be beneficial if taking the place of unhealthy food items in your diet. Nutritionists say meal replacements can also be a great way to jumpstart weight loss. They help with portion control, are high in protein and low in sugar. However, solid foods are important because they stimulate the movement of muscles in your digestive tract. Experts warn that meal replacements tend to lack the fiber and good bacteria needed to keep you healthy. Psychologically speaking, drinks can also leave you feeling unsatisfied. If you really want to try meal replacements, dietitians suggest moderation. Try a shake for breakfast and traditional healthy meals for lunch and dinner. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
It's recommended that you check with your doctor or dietitian before beginning a rigorous meal replacement program.
Hey there. Hey there, I'm Tony Heim from WOUB Sports. When we come back from the break, I'll preview one of the most talked about baseball games this millennium, Cubs versus Indians Game 7. We'll also allot a little time to the hardwood. How are the Cavs doing through their first 4 games? What about the potential of both Bobcat teams? All that and more when we come back. Stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities. And of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything. Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Welcome back. I'm Tony Heim. After 2,642 games this year, the 2016 edition of Major League Baseball comes to an end tonight. It all comes down to Corey Kluber and the Cleveland Indians versus Kyle Hendricks and the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs have won 2 straight while on the brink of elimination, including a 9-3 win last night. Addison Russell's grand slam in the 3rd inning put Chicago up 7-0, all but solidifying a Game 7. Kluber will be starting his 3rd game of this series, both on 3 days rest, while the Cubs ace has not pitched since Game 3 last Friday.
That's a good feeling, and I know they love their guy too, as they should. It's Game 7, you got 2 really, really good pitchers, and it'll be exciting. And like I said before tonight's game, I mean, it's an honor to even be a part of it, and we're going to give everything we have. And I can't imagine a better group of guys to go through something like this with.
Chicago may have the advantage in terms of resting their starters, but the Cubs' bullpen has been depleted the last 2 games. The Cubs' best weapon, Aroldis Chapman, has pitched 4 innings in the last 2 games, while ALCS MVP Andrew Miller has not made an appearance since Game 4 last Saturday. Game time is scheduled for 8 p.m. and will be aired on Fox. Bobcat basketball officially opens to the public in 3 days, and OU fans are expecting big things out of both programs this season. The Lady Bobcats will open up Hoops Fest 16 with an exhibition game against reigning Division III champion Thomas More at 11:30. The ladies were voted first place in the MAC East preseason poll after posting the best record in the MAC last season. After that matchup, the men's team will take the floor for their only preseason game this year. Local university and NAIA powerhouse Rio Grande will be their opponent. Interestingly enough, the Bobcats were one of 4 Ohio universities to receive votes in the AP Top 25 preseason poll on Monday, joining Cincinnati, Dayton, and Ohio State. Both teams have high expectations going into the season, and Saturday will be the first chance to see their potential. Sticking with the hardwood, the Cleveland Cavaliers are already showing their dominance over the Eastern Conference in the early stages of the season. The Cavs knocked off the Rockets 128-120 last night to push their record to 4-0. Kyrie Irving led the way for Cleveland with 32 points, his first 30-point outing of the season. With wins against New York and Toronto, Cleveland looks primed to be atop of the Eastern Conference come playoff time. However, they'll have to watch out for the Chicago Bulls and Atlanta Hawks, who are both 3-0 to start the season. And while the entire Cavaliers roster is beloved in Cleveland, former Browns head coach Pat Shurmur is not. Shurmur and his 9-23 record with the Browns was announced as the interim offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings after Norv Turner resigned today. Cleveland fans will verify that Pat probably won't help the Vikings in the long run. I'm Tony Heim. That's it for sports. Back to you, Michaela.
Thanks, Tony. Mark your calendar, Sandwich Day is this Thursday. And in honor of this very important holiday, Subway is giving away a free sub for each one that you buy with a drink. The popular sandwich chain will also donate a free meal to Feeding America. The nonprofit organization runs a network of 200 food banks across the country. Subway is calling the promotion the Good Deed Feed. And now over to Ananda Harris for a final look at weather.
Thanks, Michaela. Well, if you're here in Athens and you're going to go get one of those subs, you might want to take an umbrella because we're going to have some rain on Thursday. But right now we have partly cloudy skies, and overnight we're going to drop down to a low of 58 degrees. Tomorrow we're going to hit a high of 66 with that rain and possible thunderstorms in the morning. We may also have some gusty winds as a cold front's moving into the region. And for your 7-day after that rain passes through, it will be sunny skies for the next few days. Beautiful weekend, highs in the mid-60s. Starting next week, we're going to have highs in the mid to upper 60s before we cool down a little bit midweek with a few clouds in the area. Over to you, Michaela and Abby.
Thanks, Ananda. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Michaela Marshall.
Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities. And of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.